Good afternoon yet again, Thabo. You're right. We're standing by with Omphile Maotwe. She is the Treasurer General for the Economic Freedom Fighters. Good afternoon and thank you so much for your time. Earlier on in the day, we were speaking to your spokesperson, Vuyani Pambo, who reiterated the fact that tonight the EFF will be disrupting the president's speech. Is that the line that you're going, is that still the line that you're taking?
Good afternoon, Casey, and then good afternoon for the viewers at home. Thank you for having us. So we are voted to come to Parliament and to hold the executive accountable. One of our 7 non-negotiable pillars, which is number 7 actually, it says we need an open, accountable, corrupt-free government and society without fear of victimization by anyone, by state agencies. So we've got that mandate from our voters, we've got that mandate from our members, our supporters. They said to us, go and hold the president accountable, the executive accountable. So President Ramaphosa, there have been calls to say Pravin is not performing. Therefore, recall Pravin. We were very clear when we made that call, because we're sitting in a country where the SOEs are collapsing. And we know that they're doing that because they want to sell the SOEs to their friends. And we're not going to allow that. We're not going to sit back, Casey, and allow Pravin to take us back to prior 1994.
But surely if the measure that you're using to disrupt the speech is that you're looking at a minister who is underperforming, there could be many other ministers who could very well fit that criteria, especially if the premise of it is service delivery. You could take the state of local municipalities, where you have about 40 municipalities that are under administration. You could easily say that the Traditional Affairs and Cooperation Minister, he too must then be fired, because clearly the things that fall under his realm of responsibility are simply not doing well. So there is this impression that you are deliberately targeting Pravin Gordhan for whatever agenda it is that the EFF has.
It has to be deliberate. Pravin is sitting on our strategic assets of the country. I hear you when you talk about local government municipalities, but our councillors are then in the councils there. They're holding the executive accountable there. Pravin is sitting on 7 SOEs that none of them are performing. They're collapsing. So it's not a question of saying we're only targeting him, we're not targeting the other ministers. We are looking at the key strategic sectors here.
You talk about beneficiation quite a bit. The Minerals and Energy Department could well be a target that, again, you'd be able to tick the boxes. We have an incomplete mining charter. You have IPPs that were set to come on the grid a couple of years back. The minister hasn't signed any of those into being, or the legislation that allows them to be fully operational. So why aren't you going after Minister Gwede Mantashe?
We are, but the issue is we're looking at the issue of bread and butter. Electricity affects everyone in the country. So if Pravin shut down electricity, it affects the poorest of the poor. So we're looking at a situation that the mining sector, of course, the second non-negotiable pillar is that we need to nationalize the mines. We're coming for Gwede Mantashe, by the way. It's not like it's off the hook. We're coming for him. But we are saying, currently at the moment, we don't have electricity in the country. And it affects everyone.
One of the things that has been raised by the presiding officers of Parliament is that there are multiple mechanisms that this institution allows for accountability. There's the debate that is held after the State of the Nation address. There are, of course, also the various committees that have been set up through which ministers are then also held accountable, and there's SCOPA that also does the work of holding officials accountable. Why do you feel that those mechanisms are perhaps not the right mechanisms for you to take this issue to? Why is disrupting the president the only way of getting the message across?
So the president does not sit in the portfolio committee. That's one. The president does not sit at SCOPA. I sit in the portfolio committee of public enterprise. Pravin does not come there, does not account to anyone. He's the prime minister. When they come here, the Department of Public Enterprise, they will tell us that we've submitted documents to the minister. The minister has not signed them. The last sitting, the meeting that we held last year before we break for Christmas, we even said to them, bring those documents here to this committee so that we can evaluate them here and see if we can't find a minister to sign those documents.
But surely it's a fault of Parliament if it is unable to get a member of the executive to come before it to account, because that is one of the duties that that Parliament has to exercise.
And you're not doing that. And we are saying the president...
But how is that the president's fault?
No, but the president is the one who appointed ministers, who appointed Pravin. He must take accountability. The president must not be absolved here, Kathy. He must take responsibility because these people are reporting to him. You heard Pravin yourself when you were saying he's executing the mandate of the president himself. So Pravin is executing the mandate of the president, and you are saying to the president, President, is that the mandate that you asked Pravin to do, to switch off electricity for the people? Is that what you are asking? Right now, SAA, we've got business rescue practitioners. Is that the route that you are taking as the president? Because he says, he absolves himself. He says, no, now I'm not doing anything wrong. Rather, go and ask the president, because the president is the one who said, I must come and do those things here. So we are holding Ramaphosa accountable because Ramaphosa is the one who appointed Pravin. Pravin said himself that he's executing the mandate of Ramaphosa. And Ramaphosa does not sit at SCOPA. He does not sit at DPE. If that is the case, then Ramaphosa must come to DPE, a portfolio, a public enterprise, to come and account. Why is the minister that he appointed not delivering?
Sure. I wonder, again, Parliament in itself can hold the executive to account. So there is a way that Parliament can hold the president to account. Is disrupting the State of the Nation
what is the way? What is the way? Because the speaker is the ANC, is from ANC.
Yes.
So how is he going to hold up? We are saying to the speaker now, the speaker, allow us to hold the president accountable. The speaker says, no, I'm not going to allow you to hold the president accountable. So what must we do?
Okay, what do you mean you've said to the speaker, allow us to hold the president to account? What did you do? Give us the process. No, give us the process that you have followed.
So there's committees, Kathy, that the chief whip and the whips, they sit.
Yes.
And we've sent lots of questions to the president. He's not responding. Okay. We've made statements to say remove Pravin. He's not responding. You heard the speaker herself when you were saying she's not going to allow disruption. All that we are trying to say is we want to hold Pravin accountable, and the speaker must allow us. Instead, the speaker is doing what? He's calling the police to do what? To kill us.
So what can we expect then going into tonight? What exactly is the, I suppose, logistical plan of the EFF?
The plan is our plan, Kathy. But once Ramaphosa starts speaking, we are going to hold him accountable.
There are those commentators who say, well, the EFF has effectively run out of ideas, that without an enemy, you are unable to function and you are unable to almost let your presence be felt within Parliament, and that this is another means for you to be able to put yourselves on the map, because you would know that it's worked previously under the Zuma administration. It guarantees you headlines the next day. What do you say to those commentators?
Look, people can say whatever they want to say, Kathy, but we're not going to be told by our enemies how we should behave. They said the same thing about Zuma, and then they said we are going to disrupt Ramaphosa. When he came, we didn't disrupt him. We said we are giving Ramaphosa a chance because we want him to prove himself. He has not done that. Instead, everything is falling apart, and are we supposed to fold arms? We are not here for popularity. We don't need the TVs in Parliament to...
What about the right of ordinary South Africans, if their approval ratings are anything to go by, at least over 60% of them, who still believe in Ramaphosa and his presidency, but who have voted him into office, who deserve to hear what the president of the country has to say without interruption? Because surely it has been more people that have given Ramaphosa the right to speak uninterrupted at the State of the Nation address than it has been those that you say, who's on behalf of you are acting, who have said go and interrupt the president's speech.
Yeah, we are opposition party, that's why. We're an opposition party. We are not a sub-branch of the ANC. We are here to hold the president accountable.
Fair enough.
And we are going to do that. And we've been voted to come here. If our people are not happy with what we are doing, they would not have voted for us. So they voted for us to come and hold Ramaphosa accountable.
I'm not disputing.
And there's no law that says when Ramaphosa takes podium, we can't ask him questions. There's no law like that.
But you are saying you're interrupting the State of the Nation address, which is an important address for the country.
It's equally important to hold Ramaphosa accountable. Equally important.
Yes, but
from here, where are we going to see Ramaphosa after this? Where?
You're going to see him at the debate of the State of the Nation address.
Exactly.
That again is an opportunity for you to raise whatever questions that you have.
No, that's not that's not enough.
And what about the right of the people that have voted Ramaphosa into power, the majority of this country that voted Ramaphosa into power? Do they not have a right to listen to the State of the Nation address uninterrupted?
Yeah, so if they are saying they are happy with Ramaphosa, well and good for them. It's not good for us, because we can't go on, Kathy, with electricity being off. We can't go on with Transnet being run down the ground. We can't. We're not going to allow that. If they are happy, well and good for them. For us, we are not happy, and we are going to express our unhappiness directly to Ramaphosa.
And I'm asking you again, for the majority of South Africans who have voted Ramaphosa into power, do they not have a right to listen to his State of the Nation address uninterrupted?
Everybody has the right, Kathy. Even the people that didn't vote for Ramaphosa, they've got the right to electricity.
No, I'm asking you, because the State of the Nation address, right, is an opportunity for the president to either announce or not announce whatever plans that will be put in place to address not just the ESCOM crisis, but the multiple other crises that the country is facing. So what I'm saying is, do you think that your need to interrupt Ramaphosa is greater than that of South Africans who have voted him into power, to be able to hear what his plan is for the country for the next year and decide for themselves whether or not it is something that they approve of?
Kathy, Ramaphosa does not, Parliament is not the only platform for Ramaphosa to speak. He speaks everywhere. He even lies. He lied to us last year saying there won't be any electricity cut. Without the EFF, without anybody. So this is not the only opportunity for him, but for us, this is the opportunity, because we never get to see Ramaphosa anywhere. If he was lying to us that he's not going to cut electricity and we were there, we would have interrupted that speech.
So are you saying that this is about pure political gimmicks?
It's not. We're holding the executive accountable. Our seventh non-negotiable pillar, my friends, says we need an open, corrupt-free society and government. So we are going to hold Ramaphosa accountable, because...
So does that mean you're going to be interrupting him everywhere he speaks for the rest of the year?
Well, if he's delinquent, that's what we're going to do. If that's how he's going to behave, we're going to do that. We're not afraid. We will do that. Okay. We will raise our unhappiness any means necessary. Okay. We will.
Let's talk about the threat of violence then for tonight. What are the conversations that you have had about any means to avoid or avert violent situations violent scenes from playing themselves out?
We are not violent, Kathy. Sure. I mean, you can see I'm coming wearing like this. I'm not violent. All that we are saying is that the president must be held accountable. I'm a member of parliament. I've been voted by our people to come and hold the president accountable.
Are you looking for a fight?
No, we don't want a fight. All that we're saying is that we want to hold the president accountable, but we know the president we're dealing with is the president of concomitant action. We're not scared of concomitant action. He must bring it. If there must be a repeat of Marikana, let it be. If we have to die, let's die for the truth. We're going to die for it if needs be. We're not scared. We're not going to be threatened by violence and death. We're not scared. People were killed there in Marikana. If we have to be killed, let us be killed. But we are not scared. We are going to hold Ramaphosa accountable, and nothing will change. Nothing will stop us. Nothing.
Right. Well, the EFF is certainly standing its ground.